I don't care if you graduated from Harvard or if you even went to high school. Because in this coming new world, that degree you're so proud of, it's turning into a piece of scrap paper. Friends, this isn't just some clickbait headline. This is Elon Musk, in January 2026, issuing a final ultimatum to the global middle class. Please, you have to understand the code being rewritten underneath this statement. Musk is using a kind of brutal rationality to declare that the degree equals wealth formula, which society has run on for 200 years, is officially dead. He's exposing the terrifying truth hidden beneath the prosperity. We are currently undergoing a legal, massive purge of human mental labor. In today's video, we're going to tear apart this death notice from the world's richest man. Why does Musk dare to assert that the next 7 years aren't some techno-utopia, but a financial gates of hell that 90% of the white-collar class must walk through barefoot? All the answers are hidden in the violent clash between the just concluded CES and Musk's speech in Texas. Let's pull things back to reality. While the whole world is cheering for Lisa Su cutting AI inference costs in half, Musk sharply caught the scent of blood behind that signal. Remember this fatal logic chain. Lisa Su's attack is making compute power as cheap as tap water. And Musk's warning is this: when the cost of silicon compute approaches zero, the expensive, inefficient, rest-needing, carbon-based compute, that's you and me sitting in office buildings, will completely lose its pricing power. A Harvard grad junior analyst, $100,000 annual salary, works 8 hours a day, needs vacations, social security, and emotional maintenance. Meanwhile, an AI agent based on the MI400 chip, its rental cost is under $100. It can devour data and churn out reports 24 hours a day without sleeping, with a lower error rate. This is the economic essence of Musk's Harvard is useless theory. It's not that knowledge is useless. It's that the cost-performance ratio of humans as carriers of knowledge has collapsed. In an interview with Peter Diamandis, Musk further solidified this cruel future. He introduced the concept of a 7-year pain period. This isn't just an economic cycle fluctuation. This is a species-level filter. In these 7 years, society will be torn in half by a sharp technological fault line. Above the line are the very few godmen who hold the physical cheats. Their wealth will explode alongside the exponential reproduction of robots. Below the line is the mass of ordinary people reduced to redundant compute. Whether you are an accountant, translator, or concept artist, as long as your output can be digitized, you are on this purge list. Musk even used a more obscure, terrifying phrase to pinpoint the ultimate standard of this filter. Future competition isn't just about cognition, it's about the body. The subtext here is, in the coming human-machine game, since your brain can outrun AI, humanity's only remaining moat might return to the most primitive level: real perception and vitality in the physical world. If you're still holding on to the linear thinking of, I just need to survive these next 2 years and it'll be fine, you might be making an irreversible strategic error. Because this change isn't a rainstorm, it's climate change. The environment has changed. If the species doesn't evolve, the only ending is extinction. So, facing this death notice, how do we find the way out? Musk pointed to 3 extremely hidden escape routes that can traverse this 7-year valley of death. But each one requires you to strip yourself down and reconstruct your cognition. First, why is Lisa Su's price cut the most fatal backstab to the working class? How does that ignored hardware killer actually work? Second, after the degree moat collapses, what does the path to the new era actually look like? Third, in this screening, destined to eliminate 90% of mediocre productivity, what should we bet on to get a ticket to the new world? Next, we're going to peel back the shiny skin of Silicon Valley and dive deep into the internal logic of this massive 2026 wealth reshuffle. Take a deep breath, because the truth is often more painful than lies, but only the truth can save your life. If Musk's prophecy was a thunderclap, then Lisa Su's presentation at CES was the silent, continuous rain destined to drown countless middle-class families. In this arena of fame and fortune, most eyes were glued to Nvidia's performance monsters. Everyone marveled at how many times Jensen Huang increased compute power again, as if it were the glory of human evolution. But please, move your gaze to the other side of the stage. Look at Lisa Su, the semiconductor queen. That MI400 chip in her hand is the invisible blade truly piercing the white-collar dream. Why? Because Lisa Su did something commercially great but sociologically cruel. She forced the cost of AI inference down by half. In the context of tech, this is called inclusion. But in the context of the labor market, this is called clearance. We must establish a new cognitive coordinate system. In 2026, what smashes your rice bowl isn't that high-end mighty superintelligence. It's the mediocre intelligence that is hair-raisingly cheap. Let's do some cruel math. In the past, what made up the value of a junior analyst from Harvard or Stanford? It was his knowledge base accumulated over 20 years. His logical ability proven by LSAT or CPA exams, and the expensive maintenance costs you had to pay for him as a human being. You pay him at least $100,000 a year, pay his social security, tolerate his 8 hours of sleep, weekends off, and occasional mood swings. In the era of carbon-based compute, this premium was reasonable. But now, Su's MI400 chip enters the chat. It allows an AI agent with the same logic and knowledge to run for under $100 or even just a few cents. Note, this shocking scissors gap, $100,000 versus $100. When the capabilities are almost identical or AI is even better at accuracy and speed, where will the flood of capital flow? This is an inevitability on the level of thermodynamics. Energy always flows to the path of least resistance. Capital always flows to the hollow of highest efficiency. This is the formula Musk hit the nail on the head with in his Texas speech. The Moore's law of compute equals the depreciation law of human value. When compute becomes as cheap as tap water, that once expensive brain labor instantly becomes cheap industrial water. At CES 2026, there was a booth ignored by many, but worthy of history books, a startup named AutoCorp. They didn't show off cool robots. They just showed a row of blinking servers. But their demo sent chills down the spines of every executive present. This fully automated AI agent matrix, built on cheap AMD compute, used a single server cluster to successfully replace 1,000 salespeople, 500 customer service reps, and 200 junior programmers. This isn't a sci-fi movie scene. This is reality happening right now. First to collapse is the programmer's golden rice bowl. Knowing Python used to be hard currency for high salaries. But in 2026, with the spread of cloud code and GPT-5, the barrier to coding has been completely flattened. A Google engineer even bluntly stated, "I don't write code anymore." Now, 80% of code is written by. Previously, you needed to hire a massive dev team front-end, back-end, testing ops. Now, as long as you know how to ask AI questions. A super individual who understands the business, leading a bunch of AI agents working 24/7, can build complex business software from scratch in days. Just as Exia co-founder Igor Babushkin lamented, some weeks condense decades of change. The era where learning to code could change your destiny has officially drawn a period in 2026. Next to fall are the knowledge-dense fortresses of law and accounting. Lawyers and accountants were expensive because their brains held vast oceans of statutes and standards, scarce retrieval and matching ability. But now, when a legal large model supported by MI400 chips can read tens of thousands of pages of contracts in a second, pinpoint risk clauses, and offer revisions. When an accounting AI can instantly connect bank feeds, generate balance sheets and cash flow statements, and finish tax filings, ask yourself, what is the meaning of existence for that human junior staffer who still relies on being careful in memory? Jensen Huang is accelerating compute to do high-end replacement, while Lisa Su is lowering costs to do bottom-tier slaughter. This is the most despairing part for ordinary people. If AI remained an expensive luxury, only big companies could afford it, and SMEs would still need humans. But when Su turns AI into cabbage prices, where even a roadside ad agency or small law firm can use top-tier AI models, humanity's last refuge disappears. When global liquidity goes crazy piling into compute and energy sectors, traditional asset defense lines will likely experience violent, counterintuitive shocks due to the instant withdrawal of funds. That's why, internally, we've compiled a Musk prophecy decision map, running objective wargame simulations on potential extreme market moves. I've put this manual in the comments section. Click to get it. This leads directly to an absurd phenomenon, the total collapse of the degree moat. Musk says he doesn't care about Harvard degrees because, in the face of cheap compute, the traditional university education system is bankrupt. Think about it. 4 years of college, huge tuition fees. What did we learn? Memorizing accounting standards? Reciting laws? Practicing coding syntax? We treated our brains like hard drives, trying to store more knowledge. But in 2026, all that knowledge is compressed into large models, available on demand, cheap as air. Is your brain's access speed faster than fiber optics? Is your memory capacity bigger than a data center? If not, those certificates you fought so hard for are just expired tickets in the eyes of a boss. This is a murder without malice. AMD and Nvidia aren't targeting anyone. They're just sprinting toward physical limits. Lisa Su just wants to make the world more efficient. But in this ultra-efficient new world, mediocre human compute has become the system's biggest burden and cost center. So when we cheer for tech progress, never forget to check your own pocket. See if that diploma you were once so proud of can still be exchanged for a decent salary in the flood of AI. If the answer is no, then Musk's 7-year Valley of Death prophecy isn't a prophecy to you, it's an imminent dead end. At this point in the video, I know many friends behind the screen are still holding on to a simple optimism. Why fear AI taking jobs? Didn't Musk say there will be universal basic income? Robots work, feed us, and we just write poetry and paint. This might be the biggest honey trap of the 21st century. Musk did describe that abundance in his interview with Diamandis. But he didn't just paint the pie. He cruelly pointed out the path to get there. He defines the 7 years from 2026 to 2033 as a violently turbulent vacuum period. Before reaching that beautiful shore, we must walk barefoot through this valley of economic death. Why? Because there is a massive, fatal time lag between the speed of technological evolution and the speed of social distribution reform. Economic historians call this phenomenon Engels Pause. Look back at the first industrial revolution. Steam engines made British productivity skyrocket. But for half a century, ordinary workers' wages didn't rise, they fell. Because machines stole their livelihoods. All the dividends were taken by the capitalists who owned the machines. Musk is warning us, 2026 opens Engels Pause 2.0, and it will be 10 times more violent than before. In this stage, we will witness a schizophrenic society. On one hand, GDP will explode due to the high efficiency of AI and robots. Giants like Nvidia, Tesla, and Microsoft, holding the hegemony of compute and energy, will be wealthier than nations. On the other hand, the middle class will suffer a massive collapse. Please note, the UBI in Musk's mouth is absolutely not a long-term meal ticket that lets you lie flat comfortably. In that transition phase, it's more like a subsistence allowance to maintain social order. It guarantees you won't starve, but it absolutely will not give you dignity. This leads to the prophecy that broke the hearts of the Harvard elite. I don't care if you graduated from Harvard. The deep meaning here isn't that studying is useless, but that the asset known as knowledge has undergone hyperinflation. In the old world, why go to Harvard? Why take the CP? Why memorize thick law books? Because in that era, knowledge was scarce. The cost to acquire it was high. Whoever had more info and logic in their brain was the superior person. But in 2026, the combination of Neuralink and cloud models is reducing the sacred act of learning to a simple download. A human surgeon needs 10 years of clinical trial and error to train steady hands. But for the Optimus robot network, once one node learns a microsurgery operation, every terminal globally masters it in a millisecond. This is marginal cost of knowledge equals zero. When skills can be copied and distributed like software, what does your proud diploma prove other than that you paid high tuition and time costs? This directly leads to the birth of a new class Musk hinted at, the useless class. This isn't a derogatory term, it's a physics term. It means in the economic system. You can neither provide compute cheaper than AI as a producer, nor provide enough purchasing power as a consumer. You become redundant code in the system. At CES 2026, Hollywood paused an $800 million studio expansion because of AI video generation. Customer service firms fired 700 people because of AI assistants. These aren't temporary economic fluctuations. They are structural permanence. Those laid off accountants, translators, junior lawyers, the recovery they are waiting for will never come. Their ecological niche has been filled by silicon-based organisms. So, in this cruel survival qualifier, do humans have absolutely no chance? Musk, though cold, left a cracked version of the answer. He repeatedly emphasizes one word, cognition. In an era of knowledge depreciation, the ability to ask is 10,000 times more valuable than the ability to answer. AI can solve any known problem, but it cannot define what problem is worth solving. It can write perfect copy, but it doesn't know if that copy moves the human heart. It can generate beautiful designs, but it doesn't know if the design fits shifting human aesthetics. Musk says, curiosity will cultivate any form of consciousness. The subtext, the future elite won't be the test takers who get full marks, but the contractors with insane curiosity who can command AI teams to explore the unknown. The education system is undergoing violent decentralization. Future universities won't be diploma factories, but will return to their original attributes, social connection and linking. You don't go to college to learn knowledge. You go to find partners with top-tier cognition, to build carbon-based trust that AI cannot simulate. So when we cross this 7-year valley of death, please, throw away those old world maps in your backpack. Stop being anxious that your kid can't memorize ancient poems. Stop panicking that you can't write code. Those are AI jobs. What you need to polish is that creativity that creates something from nothing. That critical thinking that sees through the facade to the essence. That empathy that transmits warmth in this cold technical world. We've seen the full cruelty of the 2026 exam paper. Degrees fail, skills depreciate, classes fracture. I believe right now, many hearts are panicking. But remember Musk's final words in the interview. The future is here. It doesn't care if you're ready. It's like a Cybertruck at full speed, either get on board or get crushed. Since we can't stop the tsunami, we must learn to surf. In this screening, destined to wash away 90% of old humanity, if you want that extremely scarce ticket to the new world, you must immediately discard your old balance sheet and reallocate into these 3 hardcore assets. New asset, number 1, top-tier cognition evolving from screw to contractor. In the old coordinate system, we were taught to be perfect screws, obedient, precise, durable. But in the AI era, screws die fastest because AI is the world's lowest cost screw. The only way out for ordinary people is to evolve into a contractor on the spot. What is contractor thinking? Before you were a copywriter, your value was writing beautiful sentences. Now AI writes 10,000 sentences in a second. Your new value is judging which one hits the heart. Before, you were a programmer. Your value was typing code. Now AI generates code for zero cost. Your new value is designing the system architecture and commanding AI to fill in the details. Musk repeatedly emphasized, in 2026, the ability to ask is worth 10,000 times more than answering, because answering has become a cheap industrial product, while asking represents direction, aesthetics, and decision. You must learn to be the one giving orders, not the one frantically typing on the keyboard. You need critical thinking to identify AI hallucinations. You need systems thinking to integrate AI capabilities. This is the cognitive dividend Musk talks about. When everyone's knowledge levels flatten to the same starting line, whoever can command the AI army is the general of the new era. New asset number 2, severely undervalued biological capital. This might be the most terrifying yet easily ignored part of Musk's prophecy. In the interview, he pointed to his belly, half joking but deadly serious, and mentioned longevity. Imagine this scenario. By 2035, AI might conquer cancer and crack the aging code. Those who are energetic and alive at that point will get an admission ticket to extended life, maybe living to 120 or 150, enjoying the ultimate miracle of compound interest. But if you, in these few years before dawn, ruin yourself at 50 because of anxiety, staying up late, and junk food, if you collapse at 60, then you are the unlucky guy who died on the doorstep of the treasure vault. You become the person who didn't wait for the ambulance. In this high-pressure chaos, a healthy body isn't wellness, it is your only strategic reserve. Your muscle mass is your cash flow. Your cardio function is your growth potential. Your sleep quality is your risk control. Musk is warning us, this is a marathon of lifespan. Don't overdraft a biological container meant to hold the massive AI dividends of the future just for some old wages you'd lose without overtime. New asset number 3, bet on energy and compute. If you still have money but don't know where to invest, Musk gave an answer based on first principles of physics by Watts. In the future economic model, the veil of currency will be torn away. Energy will become the only hard currency. Why? Because AI is essentially a monster that devours electricity. Training a large model burns a nuclear power plant's worth of output. Driving billions of robots consumes the Earth's energy. As Musk said, future competition is essentially a competition of compute, and the endpoint of compute is energy. So don't invest in service industries easily replaced by AI. Don't buy those concept dogs that only write PG. Place your chips on the tracks that produce clean energy and provide compute infrastructure. Whoever controls the production of energy and the distribution of compute is the feudal lord of the new era. Finally, I want to end today's topic with Musk's metaphor regarding the ultimate role of humanity. At the end of the interview, he threw out a philosophically charged view. Humans might just be the biological bootloader for silicon-based life. Just like that tiny snippet of boot code when a computer turns on. Its mission is to wake up the powerful operating system. Once the system starts, the bootloader can quietly exit. This sounds like a tragedy for civilization. But no, this is actually the horn of evolution. Because Musk gave the only path to redemption, fusion. We don't have to exit, we can choose to coexist with AI. Through Neuralink, through human-machine collaboration. Combining carbon-based spirituality with silicon-based immortality. Today, Musk has written the answer on the blackboard. Throw away fantasies about old degrees. Build top-tier cognition to command AI. Guard your biological bottom line of health. Bet on the future trend of energy. At this historical turning point of 2026, you must refuse to be the denominator that gets filtered out. Go all out to be the numerator that actively evolves. This screening across species levels is essentially a violent clash between the collapse of compute costs and the lag in social distribution logic. At this critical juncture, where new and old asset logics collide violently, we easily overlook what kind of logical impact our stable defensive assets will encounter. So internally, we've compiled a Musk prophecy decision map to provide a bottom layer boundary reference for us in this asset restructuring phase. I've put this manual in the comment section. Click to get it. The market is like a puzzle. The missing piece is always where the news doesn't mention. This is Iron Bull Finance. See the pattern before the crash.